How's it going, everyone? I want to talk a couple things in this video, some free-to-play games updates. Specifically, one of the biggest recent free-to-play titles might be making its way over to consoles if the demand is high enough. We'll talk about that of course being Lost Ark. Planetside 2 Expedition Osher arrives on PlayStation 4, so you can check that out over on Planetside 2. And we have a bunch of PlayStation 4 and 5 game deals that I do want to talk about in just a little bit. We'll save that for the end of this video. But first up, Amazon Games spoke to VG247 and we got a little bit of information regarding the potential of a Lost Ark over on consoles. Obviously, it's available on PC right now, but we've seen a lot of titles that are free-to-play games on PC. They start out on PC, eventually make their way over to consoles. Not even free-to-play titles, big titles in general. Planetside 2 being one of them, and of course you have games like Diablo and other games that have made the transition from PC to console. Suman Park spoke to VG247 and noted, if Lost Ark on consoles is something that fans really want, then I think it's something both parties would consider. Now, if you guys don't actually know, obviously, Lost Ark recently came out on PC over on Steam. It just blew the hell up, having a concurrent player count of over 1 million players. That's at the same time. It was ridiculous how many players Lost Ark had. Even before its official release, if you bought one of the Founders Pack, you could get into the game early. Servers were hard to get into. Servers were filling up. You were getting rewards if you moved from an overfilled server into a different server. It was a wild launch. At this point, it's still a very popular game. I don't think it's at, obviously the launch is going to be its most popular period, but it's still incredibly popular. Here, I'm pulling up the concurrent player base for you guys right now on Steam, and you're still looking at 385,000 players online at the same time. Yes, that might be a big drop-off from its peak, but that is still an incredibly high number to maintain after a month and a half since its original release. Yeah, it's been about a month and a half. The game's been very popular on PC, pretty well received. I played quite a bit of it, and I enjoyed it. It's just, I wasn't super into it to the point where I dropped everything, and February was a weird time period where I was playing Lost Ark for a little bit, but then you had Dying Light 2, you had Horizon, and you had Elden Ring as like 3 big games that came out in February, all pretty big, so I couldn't be one of those people that just sunk in a lot of hours into Lost Ark. But what I played, I enjoyed, and by the way, Lost Ark is a game that has controller support on PC right now. Ideally, you'd probably be best off playing it with a keyboard and mouse, but that's just going to be a reality with a lot of these games. But the controller, I played it with an Xbox controller for a little bit, and I thought it was alright. I thought it was pretty decent to play it with an Xbox controller. So the fact of the matter is, they've got the control setup laid out. It would just be a matter of porting the game to consoles and figure everything out with Sony and Microsoft as far as things like cross-platform play and things like that. But I think it could do very well on PlayStation 4 and 5. Probably on 5, I would imagine. Maybe they could get it on 4, I don't know. But if you're into dungeon crawling action RPGs, Diablo-style games, Lost Ark is going to be something you'd be all over. The game is visually stylistic as all hell, and you've got an abundance of moves, different characters you can play as. There is, some microtransaction elements, of course, that any free-to-play game is gonna have. But overall, I had a pretty good time with it, and I would love to see it on PlayStation 4 and 5. I think it would do very well on Xbox as well, and we'll see if that does happen in the future. Suman Park noted, if that's something fans want, I think fans would want it. I don't think it would reach the heights that it did on PC. That just probably wouldn't happen. This is a game more tailored for PC, but that doesn't mean it can't be a successful game on consoles. I do believe it could, so we'll see if that ultimately comes to fruition. I'll keep you guys posted on that, but would love to see Lost Ark come to PS5 at some point. Moving on from that, I do want to quickly note that Planetside 2, a free-to-play title available on PlayStation 4, playable on PlayStation 5. Expedition Osher is arriving on PlayStation 4. That is out right now. It's a massive scale content that's been available on PC, and now it's making its way over to PlayStation 4. Planetside 2 was a game that I was playing the hell out of when it initially dropped. I haven't checked it out in a long time. The PlayStation 4 version, when I did try it out, had some issues here and there, but yeah, more content coming to Planetside 2. That's cool to see it. Planetside 2, of course, is a large-scale multiplayer first-person shooter. You've got big maps, a lot of players. You can check that out right now. But again, it's a free-to-play title, and with this new update adding quite a bit to it on top of that. Alright, lastly, I want to take a look at some Best Buy game deals, some pretty solid ones, all things considered. The Outer Worlds is down to $14.99 if you want a physical copy of that. Pretty good deal. There is DLC for this game, so, you know, that is something to consider, and Outer Worlds 2 probably won't be coming to PlayStation, so that's kind of a bummer. Obsidian title. Obsidian now owned by Microsoft. You guys know the deal, but if you want a pretty good single-player RPG, Outer Worlds isn't the lengthiest game in the world, but it is fairly good, and it still has a good bit of content, and 15 bucks is pretty good. And when I say it's not the lengthiest game in the world, in you know, the barometer of these big RPGs we got these days, you know, Outer Worlds is definitely not the lengthiest one out of all of them, but it's still a sizable experience, and 15 bucks for it I think is quite good. Another RPG, this one a collection, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, down to 25 bucks over on Best Buy. I think this is a great deal for Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Of course, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, all of the games' respective DLCs, fantastic games. Mass Effect 1 absolutely shows its age. I was actually talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was talking about how he was playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and he didn't realize how poorly Mass Effect 1 has aged. And yes, there are some updates, and Mass Effect 1 is still an enjoyable game just because, you know, games that great, even if they fall off a little bit over time, they're still pretty darn good. Mass Effect 1 surely shows its age, but we both agree that Mass Effect 2 is still one of the best RPGs of all time, and I've said that in multiple videos before. Just a classic of a game. And Mass Effect 3 is fairly good as well. To get all 3 games in one collection, 25 bucks, I think that's a pretty good pickup. I do want to note Grid Legends is $20 off for 40 bucks. This is a very, very recent release, so to see that kind of a discount this quickly, something to note. I know they took the shot at Gran Turismo on Twitter a little while back, but yeah, a third of the game's price has been slashed. Probably will get cheaper and cheaper in the near future. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, the standard edition for that is down in $19.99 over at Best Buy as well, so you can check that out if you want to as well. That's 50% off. That game's been holding up in price, all things considered. It came out back in, like, 2020? Late 2020? Yeah. 20 bucks, 50% off. Thought that was a decent deal as well. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, Lost Ark hopefully will be coming to PlayStation and Xbox sometime in the future. Still no confirmation, but if the demand is there, it potentially could happen. Planetside 2 gets a bit of an update on PlayStation 4. Massive content coming there, and a bunch of great deals available on PlayStation 4 and 5 titles. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.